Shalom and welcome to Mitzvah Torah. This year is entitled Centennial Celebration of the Balfour Declaration, Blinded by the Light. Many of us are celebrating 100 years since the Balfour Declaration. Our Minister of United Kingdom sent to Lord Rothschild a letter that the United Kingdom supports the Jewish homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine. Many of us see that as an incredible step forward in our redemption process. And yet some of our holy brothers just don't see it that way. There's a lot of points here. I have many shurim on the topic. I'll just mention one specific point. Some were very concerned, and I understand the concern, that with the secular Zionist movement gaining steam in the late 1800s, especially with the conference that Herzl set up, the First World Zionist Congress, and then the Zionists picking up more power with the early decades of the 1900s. So they're very concerned that maybe the Balfour Declaration is going to give the secular Zionists a state, and there will be no Torah, no Judaism, no religious institutions, no mikvahs, no yeshivas, no shuls, nothing. Could fear the worst. One never knows God's ways. What could happen? Sometimes things we never expect to happen, good or bad, happen. So maybe 1917, November 2nd, could be at the beginning of a disastrous process. Totally understand that. And I understand when rabbis write how people were nervous 100 years ago. What's going to be? But when rabbis write 100 years later that the Balfour Declaration was a cause to be nervous because the secular Zionists were going to take over, and they write 100 years later that the secular Zionists are still running the show and making the state a secular state without even mentioning the yeshivas, the kollels, beis medrash, the gedolim that are here, the hasidish gedolim, yeshivish gedolim, Sephardic, Dati Lumi gedolim, the chesed of the country, the religious units in the army, religious boys at every level in the army. So much Torah and mitzvos and chesed. It's overwhelming. And to not see it, to me, that's so sad, so depressing. And when I see an article, for example, in Hamodia, by Dayan Chaim Cohen, a wonderful Talmud Chacham, Posek, to see that, sees the Balfour Declaration as if he was writing 100 years ago with all the fears, legitimate fears a century ago, and not seeing all the blessings. Are there some challenges that we have till this very day? Challenges which were anticipated 100 years ago? Of course. When we have secular Jews running the government, it's not always going to work out according to the Torah and the mitzvos. Of course, we have to keep working with that, trying to change it, and trying to bring more Torah to every area of the life in the state of Israel. But then not to see the cup, which is so much more than half full, to me is so wrong. It's kfoi tova, not appreciating God's blessings. And a person looking and observing a century since the Balfour Declaration should have so much hakaras hatov to Hashem and say, thank you, Hashem, for this event, because I now see that it resulted in so many brachot. Gula Shlema the complete redemption, we're not there yet. But I see how this event was a catalyst for so many brachot. Thank you, Hashem. I appreciate it. I have such a karas hatov. That to me should be the reaction. Yetz Hashem. May all of our holy brothers see the brachot that Hashem has given us. And may we all be zocher to be able to metakein and correct those areas where the brachot have not been seen just yet. Shalom.